Let's speak English, Español, 日本語 live. Welcome, bienvenidos, yokoso. My name is Garrett, and I want to study and use languages with you. Me llamo Garrett. Quiero estudiar y usar idiomas contigo. 私の名前は Garrett です。あなたと一緒に言語を勉強して使いたいです。In this show, we will look at 3 questions that are great for conversation in English, Spanish, and Japanese. En este programa veremos 3 preguntas que son excelentes para conversar en inglés, español y japonés. この番組では、英語、スペイン語、日本語での会話に最適な3つの質問を紹介します。Then, we have 4 minutes to write our answers in the chat.Luego, tenemos 4 minutos para escribir nuestras respuestas en el chat. その後、チャットに回答を書く時間が4分間与えられます。Lastly, we have 4 minutes to write new questions in the chat by changing the original question. Por último, tenemos 4 minutos para escribir nuevas preguntas.En el chat, modificando la pregunta original. 最後に元の質問を変更して、チャットに新しい質問を書き込む時間が4分間あります。I look forward to studying and using languages with you soon.Espero estudiar y usar idiomas contigo pronto. あなたと一緒に言語を勉強して使えることを楽しみにしています。Good evening! Buenas noches! Konbanwa! Before we start this last show of the year, let's look at this month's Shogun, Ohime-sama, Daimyo, and Samurai. So far, we have 3 Shoguns / Ohime-samas this month. K.E., Takanona, and Y.O. Way to go!And 6 Daimyo, K-Workshop, Charming, Taki Agnor, Kan Mama, Hiromi Okada, and Takesh. Nice job. And 6 Samurai, Hong Konger, Hiroti, and Yamamoto, A Highbridge, Koguma Hikari, and Yuka. Great job. All right, so let's, if you want to become a 365 Language Planet Samurai,all you need to do is share an idea in the chat. So, let's begin. Empecemos. Hajimemashou. The first question of tonight's show is, I'm going to have a New Year's Eve party at home this year. How about you? In Español, este año,Voy a celebrar la Nochevieja en casa. ¿Y tú? 日本語で今年は家で大晦日パーティーをするつもりです。皆さんはどうですか? Now, please write your answer in the chat. Ahora, escribe tu respuesta en el chat. 今チャットに答えを書いてください。You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos para 4分間あります。All right, Yuka, thank you for joining tonight's show. And Y.O., thank you for joining tonight's show too. All right. I'm going to have a New Year's Eve party at my home this year. How about you? Please write your answer in the chat. Este año voy a celebrar la Nochevieja en casa. ¿Y tú? Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. 今年は家で大晦日パーティーをするつもりです。皆さんはどうですか？チャットに答えを書いてください。It's kind of difficult, but maybe I'll try to share an idea in Japanese. 息子が生まれた前に焼き鳥で大晦日パーティーをしました。Okay, Hiromi Okada says, we're going to have my daughter's birthday party. Her birthday is just on New Year's Eve. That's amazing. Thank you very much for joining the show tonight. Charmin says, it's nice. I'm going to eat toshikoshi soba at home. That's great. Thank you for joining tonight's show, Charmin. Takesh says, there will be no New Year's party at our house this year because my kids can't come home. I'm sorry to hear that, Takesh, but thank you very much for joining tonight's show. I'm so happy you can join our last show of the year. Thank you very much. Yuka says, I'm going to have a New Year's Eve party too. I will watch music TV show. It's called Kohaku Uta Gassen. Very nice. Sounds fun. I think my family and I will watch the same show a little bit. Takanona, thank you for joining tonight's show. On New Year's Eve, families gather together and eat dinner at home. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay. My little Japanese idea. 息子が生まれた前に焼き鳥屋で大晦日パーティーをしました。But now, now I like to stay home. I like to stay home. So, yeah. All right. Kan Mama, thank you for joining tonight's show. I'm not going to have a New Year's Eve party at home because our daughter and son's family can't come to our house this year. No, I'm sorry to hear that, but thank you very much for joining tonight's show. And I think you can still have a small party, even just your husband and you. But yeah, great. Nice work, everyone. Let's move on to the next section of tonight's show. So we got one more. KE says, I'm going to have a New Year's Eve party at my grandparents' home in Nagasaki. Wow. That sounds fantastic. I hope you have a great time in Nagasaki. All right. Well, let's move on to the next section of the show. So, this time, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. Ahora escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. 今、私の質問を変更してチャットに新しい質問を書いてください。You have 4 minutes Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります。So now, I would say you can change my question any way you want. Like Charmin said, I'm going to eat toshikoshi soba at home. How about you? That would be a great question. I'm gonna watch the Kohaku Utagasen. How about you? That would be a great question. Anything's okay. As I always say, just enjoy using English, and you can make any kind of question that you would like to make. So if you're just all right, the question is, I'm gonna eat toshikoshi soba on New Year's Eve. How about you? Great idea. I think my family and I will have toshikoshi soba on New Year's Eve too. But it's my wife's choice. She can decide if she wants toshikoshi soba. We will have toshikoshi soba. All right, Hyomi Okada says, I'm going to be on a diet next year. How about you? Oh my, maybe me too. We'll see. Wyo says, I'm just Ueno Station now. Have a nice new year. Okay, thank you so much, Wyo. I hope you have a nice new year too. And, if you want to study, you can always, send me a message. 365englishstudy@gmail.com, and let's be study buddies next year and share ideas. All right, Charmin says, I'm gonna go glamping with my family on New Year's Day. It's a first experience. How about you? Wow, that sounds fantastic. I've never gone glamping, but that sounds exciting. Please take pictures and please show me and tell me about it. That sounds very cool. I think I have no plans. Usually, sometimes what I do on New Year's Day is I call my mom, and we have a kind of a New Year's party, like video call New Year's Eve party. To have a safe trip. Very nice of you, Hiromi Okada. Yuka says, I would say I'm gonna hold my sister's birthday party on January. How about you? Well, I have no birthday parties in January. Nice correction, Yuka. Very nice. So yeah, no birthday parties in my home in January. But yeah, that sounds fun. Sounds like a very fun and exciting way to start the new year. I just, in Guma, every year we watch the New Year Ekiden. So it's one thing I'm gonna do. Kind Mama says, I'm gonna watch music fests on TV. How about you? Well, I guess my family and I will watch a little bit too, but honestly, Japanese music is a little bit tough for me to enjoy. It's kind of hard to understand, so I get sleepy. Lyle says thank you to Hiromi Okada, and of course, I wish you a safe trip too. Hey, he says, I'm going to stay up late on New Year's Eve and welcome the new year on 2025. Fantastic. I hope so. I hope to do that too. All right. Well, great job, everyone. Nice work. Let's move on to the next question of tonight's show, which is, what do you want to do on New Year's Eve? En español, ¿qué quieres hacer en Noche Vieja? 日本語で、大晦日に何をしたいですか? Now, please write your answer in the chat. Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. チャットに答えを書いてください. What do you want to do on New Year's Eve? Please write your answer in the chat. ¿Qué quieres hacer? And oh my god, I didn't start the timer. You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります。So, ¿qué quieres hacer en Nochevieja? Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. 大晦日に何をしたいですか? チャットに答えを書いてください。All right. Takesh says, I want to eat a lot of good food. Sounds fantastic. I like that idea. Yes. I know it's kind of tough for me to say in Japanese or Spanish, but I would say for me, oh, Yuka says, I want to eat toshikoshi soba and mochi. Sounds nice. Oh, Mama, I definitely want to eat delicious soba. Carmen says, I definitely want to eat delicious soba. Very nice. All right, this time I'm gonna share an idea in English because it's too difficult to say in Spanish or Japanese. I want to stay awake until midnight. Very simple sentence by me, but I want to stay awake until midnight. I often get sleepy, and so yes, no, I hope to stay awake until midnight. All right. So I think, for me, usually I don't have a party, like if you have a party, usually, like 6 or 7 p.m. and then finish around 9 or 10 p.m. and then come home and maybe take a bath, go to bed. But on New Year's Eve, it's kind of special. Like you got to stay up until 12. And so, it's quite challenging. So that's the thing. I want to stay up until midnight. And of course, do you want to do anything else? I used to do the Hatsumode. All right, Saku says I want to relax at least on New Year's Eve. Okay, thank you so much, Saku, for joining tonight's show. Takunona says on New Year's Eve, I want to reread my diary from the past year. Sounds great. Nice idea. Hiromi Okada says, I want to drink champagne. Me too. Recently, I got some very nice shochu and nihonshu from students, so I want to enjoy my students' shochu and nihonshu. Alright, Kay says, I want to be with my family and enjoy my grandmother's delicious food. My grandmother is also a good cook. I wonder what your grandmother said she will cook for us. Great. Very long sentence, Katie. Great job. Nice work. All right. Well, let's move on to the next section. Oh, Lyle says, me too. Okay, great. All right, let's move on. So this time, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. 私の質問を変更してチャットに新しい質問を書いてください。I'll start the timer. Okay, Takesh says, what don't you want to do on New Year's Eve? Great question. That's an easy question for me because maybe 2 nights ago, I had a Bonenkai party and I drank too much. And the next day, my stomach felt terrible. So I definitely do not want to drink too much on New Year's Eve. How about you, Takesh? For me, I want to have a happy, fun time on New Year's Eve, but I don't want to drink too much. I think, at my age now, I don't like to have a hangover. Okay, Takesh says, do you want to spend all day drinking on New Year's Day? Great question. Makata says, what do you want to do during next spring vacation? Great question. Yuka says, what do you want to eat on New Year's Eve? Great question. How about you? And everyone, how about Takesh? How about you? Yumikata? How about you? Yuka? How about you? Charming. What do you want to do during this winter vacation? Great question. All right. Well, I think Takesh, I don't want to spend all day drinking on New Year's Day anymore. I think I'll start maybe around 2 p.m. Maybe 2, yeah, I think probably about maybe 2 p.m. is a good time to start drinking. Taka says, what time do you want to stay up on New Year's Eve? Well, I don't know. I guess if possible, maybe 12:30 to 1 a.m. if possible. Mama says, what kind of foods do you want to make on New Year's Eve? Great question. All right. Well, let's go back to the beginning. So, Mikata said, what do you want to do during next spring vacation? Great question. I have no idea. I think for me, my main focus is on surviving the hay fever season. So, if I survive hay fever season, I want to do something fun on spring vacation. How about you? Yuka said, what do you want to eat on New Year's Eve? I've in years past, I've eaten a lot of meat. But I feel like I love meat, but it's kind of heavy. And so I'm thinking not so much meat this year. How about you, Yuka? And Charming, what do you want to do during this winter vacation? Great question. I don't know. I want to do exercise every day and eat healthy and study. How about you? Takesh says, I don't drink alcohol because I might have to drive on New Year's Day. Smart. Very smart. And you don't want a hangover. Hangovers are bad. Yuka says, I want to eat sushi. Wow. Sushi is good. I love sushi too. Sushi's good. Okay, well, great questions, everyone. Nice work. Kanmama says, what kind of foods do you want to make on New Year's Eve? For me, I like to just like any drinking night. I like to make the healthy otsumami. It's very like I kind of chop up a cucumber or broccoli is nice. Edamame. Okay, he says, what program do you want to watch on TV on New Year's Eve? Great question. You know, Japanese programs make me sleepy. And so, if possible, I would like to watch an interesting movie that would, help keep me awake, possibly. But I'll have to discuss it with my family. Okay, great job, everyone. Let's move on to the last question of tonight's show, which is, what time do you usually sleep on New Year's Eve? ¿A qué hora duermes en Nochevieja usualmente? おみそかはいつも何時に寝ますか? So now, please write your answer in the chat. Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. チャットに答えを書いてください. You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります. What time do you usually sleep on New Year's Eve? Mama says around midnight. That's amazing. I respect your ability. I used to stay up until midnight, but recently it's very difficult for me. Yeah, that's great, Mama. Fantastic. So, ¿a qué hora duermes en Nochevieja usualmente? Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. おみそかはいつも何時に寝ますか? チャットに答えを書いてください. What time do you usually sleep on New Year's Eve? Please write your answer in the chat. Mama says, to Mama, me too. Nice. Yuka says, I usually sleep about 3 a.m. Wow. Amazing. Do you drink coffee? Taka says, I usually go to bed around 1 p.m. I guess maybe you mean 1 a.m. Nice idea question. Hiro Mikado says, same with Mama. Our family doesn't watch Kohaku Utagasen. Okay. Saku says, I usually go to bed around 3 a.m. because I watch martial arts by myself after my family has gone to sleep. That's why I always oversleep the next day. Okay. Yuka says, but depends on the year. I see. So some years you sleep until you stay up till 3 a.m. and then some years maybe 4, 5. I don't know. Or, maybe 1 or 2. I think, when I first came to Japan, we would probably stay up until at least 1 or 2 a.m. And we'd have a party at a yakitori shop, yakitori ya, and then we would go to a shrine about maybe 1 or 2 a.m. and then go back to the yakitori ya and eat or drink some more. So yeah, it was maybe 3 or 4 a.m., but not anymore. Takeshi said, I made a mistake. AM, not PM. No, no problem. No problem. I'm not. It happens. Yes, 1 a.m. I'm very excited to see how long I can stay up. I have to, I have to be very careful not to start drinking too early. Takanona says, on New Year's Eve, I usually go to bed at midnight. However, I often get drunk and fall asleep before that. Me too! Me too! So I have to be very careful not to start drinking too early. And maybe usually I start drinking about 6 or 7 p.m. So on New Year's Eve, I'll try to wait until maybe 8 or 9 p.m. And I think, probably wait until 9 p.m. would be the best. All right. Well, if you're still typing your answers, please continue and you can share your ideas anytime during the show. KE says, I usually go to bed around 11, but on New Year's Eve, I'm going to stay up until midnight. Wow, fantastic. Recently, me too. I go to bed around 11, but definitely on New Year's Eve, I'm gonna try my best to stay up until 12. Okay, well, we have the last section of tonight's show. So this time, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. 私の質問を変更して、チャットに新しい質問を書いてください。So, I'll start the timer. Okay, so you have 4 minutes to write a new question in the chat by changing my question. My question was, what time do you usually sleep on New Year's Eve? Okay, Hiromi says, what time do you have a breakfast on New Year's Day? Great question. I'd say for me, I usually, have breakfast around 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. How about you? Takesh says, how late do you drink or eat on New Year's Eve? Great question. Takesh, recently, I'm kind of like Takanona. I get drunk early and fall asleep. So it's hard to remember. How about you, Takesh? KE says, what time do you usually get up on New Year's Day? Great question. Well, I would say my family, we get up pretty late. We usually get up around 9. I would say probably between 8 to 10 a.m. How about you, KE? Yuka says, what time do you usually take a bath on New Year's Eve? That's a great question. Before New Year or after New Year? Great. Tough question. Taking a bath is kind of a new habit for me, and so I haven't decided yet. But I love taking a bath in the evening. And if my family if they want to watch Japanese programs on TV, and if those programs are making me sleepy, it might be a great chance for me to take a bath. So maybe I will take a bath on New Year's Eve, and hopefully New Year's Day too. How about you, Yuka? All right. There's many excellent questions. Fantastic. Hiromi Okada, what time do you have breakfast on New Year's Day? Very, very interesting question. And Takesh, how late do you drink or eat on New Year's Eve? For me, I try, not to eat after 10 p.m. usually anymore. But New Year's Eve, I think I might continue until 11 or 12. But how about you, Takesh? And KE said, what time do you usually get up on New Year's Day? I'm guessing maybe 9 a.m. How about you, KE? And Yuka, what are you gonna do for a bath? Are you gonna take a bath on New Year's Eve or in the new year? Great question. Okay, KE says I usually get up around 7 on New Year's Day. Wow, amazing. And Yuka says I usually take a bath before New Year. Well, I think that's a great idea. You start the new year fresh, nice and clean and fresh. So, maybe me too this year. We'll see. All right. Well, maybe around 11 p.m. Okay. Great. All right. Well, that's the end of tonight's show. 今日のプログラムはこれで終わりです。Hiromi Kara says, we always have a breakfast around 8 with one sip of otosu nihonshu. Sounds fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much for studying and using languages with me. Muchas gracias por estudiar y usar idiomas contigo. 一緒に勉強して言語を勉強して使ってくれてありがとうございます。Next year, we're going to have the Eikawa Live with Study Buddy from Sunday, January 5th at 8:30. And Let's Speak English, Español, Nihongo Live from January 7th at 8:30 p.m. And the newest show, Let's Speak English, Deutsch, Nihongo Live from Thursday, which is a very, my pleasure, charming, my pleasure. And thank you too, Hiromi Okada. It was a wonderful year, and I hope you have a great new year too. All right. My pleasure, KE. Nice work. All right, so if you haven't already, please subscribe and give the show a big thumbs up. I hope you have a great Happy New Year too, Takesh. I hope everyone has a great New Year. Espero que todos tengan un gran año nuevo. 皆さんも素晴らしい新年を迎えられることを願っています。My pleasure, Takanona. I look forward to next year. And I will see you next time, next year. Nos vemos pronto. また近いうちにお会いましょう。So have a good night. Bye. Adios. また